Hi Year 4, I really hope that you are safe and well and that you had a great half term. Now, I've got the exciting job of teaching your science lesson today, and can you guess where I am? Got my safari hat, got my binoculars. Where might I be? I'll give you a clue. This is an African island beginning with M. Well done. I'm sure some of you have guessed Madagascar. And I'm here because we're going to talk about endangered species, endangered living things, and also we're going to learn about a very special scientist called Gerald Durrell. So I hope you enjoy the lesson. Okay, so in case you were wondering, yes, it is Miss Shah, Spanish Miss Shah here, and I'm doing your science lesson because the other Year 4 teachers are either busy working with children in school or busy working on your maths and English lessons. And we are going to look at a scientist today called Gerald Durrell, as I said, and his work that he did in Madagascar. So Madagascar in danger is our topic. And just a reminder that at the end of the lesson, when you've completed the work, I would like you to send your work to Year 4 at grange.harrow.sch.uk, just like lots of you have been doing over the last couple of months. Now, what you will need is a pen or a pencil and some paper, so something to write with and something to write on. In this lesson, there is also the chance for you to do a science investigation, but this is going to be optional. So that means that if you don't have all the things in the list there, don't worry, because I'm going to show you what would happen in the investigation. But if you do have those things, it would be great if you had a try at the investigation. So you would need an adult to help you, 3 plastic bottles with a rectangular hole cut in the side. So that's the bit where you would need an adult to help you cut those holes, or perhaps actually do that for you. 3 bottom halves of plastic bottles with 2 small holes in opposite sides. 3 lengths of string, which should all be 25 centimeters long each. Some compost, some seedlings or small plants, and some mulch such as bark, dried leaves or twigs. Don't worry, I'm going to go through all of that a bit later on in the lesson, but for now, can you make sure that you pause the video and get yourself a pen or a pencil and some paper? Well done, excellent. And on your piece of paper, I want you to copy down the short date, so the 9th of June 2020, and the learning intention, to recognise that environments can change and that this sometimes poses dangers to living things. So pause the video and copy that down, please. Excellent, and let's go through our success criteria. I can investigate the effects and dangers of deforestation in Madagascar. I can explain how Gerald Durrell helped to save Madagascar's living things. I can set up an inquiry into the effects of soil erosion. I can describe and explain my findings. Okay, so here we can see the map of the whole world, and that little bit in red, that's the island of Madagascar, just off the coast of Africa. And now we can see it a little bit closer up. Okay, so it's actually quite a big island and full of amazing wildlife. So Madagascar is here in red. So Madagascar is an island that lies approximately 400 kilometers off the southeast coast of Africa. The island formed around 160 million years ago, and it's the fourth largest island in the world. Madagascar has several different landscapes and geographical areas. Where are the tropical forests in Madagascar? What is the beige area like? So see if you can look at that key. I know it's very small, and answer those questions. You don't have to write it down, just pause and have a think. Excellent. Okay, so Madagascar has been an island for many millions of years. The plants and animals found in the forests of Madagascar have evolved and changed differently from living things on other land masses such as Africa or India. This means that Madagascar is home to many plants and animals that are found nowhere else on Earth. As many as 90% of the living things on Madagascar are thought to be endemic. This means that they are unique to Madagascar. And there they are, some of the animals. These species of plants and animals are only found in Madagascar. Darwin's orchid, Grandidier's baobab tree, AA, fossa, Panzer chameleon, and the lemur. Conservation. Unfortunately, many of the plants and animals that live on Madagascar are becoming endangered. This means that they are at risk of becoming extinct. Some scientists and conservationists have set up conservation areas to try to save these animals. A conservationist is a person who works to protect and care for the environment and living things. Gerald Durrell was a conservationist who worked hard to save Madagascar's unique plants and animals. But what dangers do the living things on Madagascar face? Pause, just have a think about what do you think might be a danger to all these amazing animals and plants. Okay, one of the dangers is deforestation. So many people in Madagascar rely on farming for their food and their livelihood. So in order to make space for fields, people cut down the trees in the tropical forests. This is known as deforestation. The people use a technique called slash and burn. First, trees are cut down for wood use. Small trees are planted in their place. A few years later, these trees are cut down to make charcoal. The next year, the plot of land is burned and a crop of grass is planted. What dangers do you think this method of deforestation poses for the living things in Madagascar's forests? Maybe you might like to write down your ideas. What do you think the effect of deforestation has on all the living things? So pause the video and write down your idea. Okay, now we're going to move on to your investigation. So investigating dangers. You are going to investigate the effects of deforestation. You will set up your investigation by following the instructions on your investigating deforestation activity sheet. Now, if you have got the equipment that I mentioned at the beginning, the plastic bottles and the seedlings and so on, and you'd actually like to do the investigation, I want you to go on to the Year 4 online learning page, and there you will find the Investigating Dangers activity sheets and also some guidance for any adults that are helping you. If you are not able to do that, then don't worry, keep watching the video and I'll explain what actually happens in the investigation. So if you want to have a go, pause the video here and complete the investigation. If that's difficult, and that's fine, then just keep watching the video.
Okay, something that I forgot to say on the previous slide even if you haven't got all that equipment, but you want to start collecting it and maybe do this investigation a bit later on in the week and then send in your work, that is fine. But whether you're doing the investigation or not, you can all still make a prediction. Okay, so basically the same amount of water is going to be poured into the 3 bottles, A, B and C. Now remember, bottle A is full of plants, just like a tropical rainforest would be. Bottle B has a layer of mulch, like the forest floor when the trees have just been cut down. And bottle C has no plants or mulch and represents the area left when all the trees have been completely cut down and burnt. So on your piece of paper, I want you to make a little prediction and answer the first 2 questions, okay? What do you think you will see collect in each of the buckets when you pour water into the bottles? Why do you think this will happen? And then have a think about, what does this show about the effects of deforestation? So pause the video, write down your ideas and your reasons why you think that might happen, and then I'm going to explain what happens in the next slide. Okay, so here we have an explanation of what would have happened. The water in the bucket from bottle A is clear. The plants and their roots hold the soil in place so it does not drain away. The water in bucket from bottle B is slightly dirtier. The layer of twigs and leaves helps to keep most of the soil in place. The water in the bucket from bottle C is very dirty and full of soil. There is nothing to hold it in place, so it drains away easily. So take a moment to pause, look back at your prediction and see if you're correct. Well done if you were, and even if you weren't, see if you understand why what happened.
When the trees of Madagascar's forests are cut down and burnt, this causes the soil to drain away into rivers and lakes when it rains. This is called soil erosion. Nutrients in the soil are washed away too, so any soil left behind is very poor and plants and trees will not grow back. This leads to something called desertification in Madagascar. This means that the areas of the rainforest that are deforested will not grow back. They're turning into deserts. So the animals and plants that live in the forests of Madagascar will have no habitat and no food to eat. They are in danger of dying out. Around 20 species of animals in Madagascar, including lemurs, are critically endangered. This means that these species are in imminent danger of extinction. So that means they're quite close to becoming extinct. So Gerald Durrell was born in India in 1925. He was an English conservationist. He worked hard to conserve the endangered species of Madagascar. Gerald Durrell founded the Durrell Wildlife Trust and the Jersey Zoo, which is now called the Durrell Wildlife Park. He set up his own zoo in 1959, especially to look after endangered animals from around the world. Now, Jersey is not that far away from us. It's a little island off the coast of England. He made several expeditions all over the world to find endangered animals and bring them back to his wildlife park in Jersey, where he cared for them and set up breeding programs so that these species could successfully have young. Once Gerald had a base for his animals and his work, he founded the Durrell Wildlife Conservation Trust to run international conservation programs. That means programs across different countries. He also opened a training centre at the wildlife park to teach scientists about conservation. Over 1,000 biologists and conservationists have attended training at the Durrell Training Institute. In 1990, the Durrell Wildlife Trust established their conservation program in Madagascar. After Gerald Durrell's death in 1995, the Durrell Trust continued to work in Madagascar, and the Durrell Conservation Program in Madagascar is now the Trust's largest program in the world. The Trust runs 8 main conservation sites in Madagascar, and they work with the local people to develop more sustainable farming methods. The Durrell Trust focuses on the most endangered species on the island, including the aye, the lemurs, the Anconolka tortoise, and the Madagascar pochard, which is a type of duck. Now, what I would like you to do is write down 4 things that you've learnt today. So, it could be information about Gerald Durrell, his conservation work in Madagascar. It could be the effect of deforestation on all the endangered species. You might want to write down what certain words mean, like endemic or deforestation or conservation. So pause the video and write those down, please. If you'd like to do more than 4, that's fine as well, but try and do at least 4 things. Excellent, so we're almost at the end of the lesson now, and I just want to bring us back to our aim or our learning intention to recognise that environments can change and that this sometimes poses danger to living things. So, as I read the success criteria, think about whether you feel confident now to do those things. I can investigate the effects and dangers of deforestation in Madagascar. I can explain how Gerald Durrell helped to save Madagascar's living things. I can set up an inquiry into the effects of soil erosion. I can describe and explain my findings. Okay, just a reminder to send your work to Year 4 at Grange, the email address on the screen. Also, if you did do the investigation, please send any pictures to that address as well. And I hope that you all stay safe, stay well, and if you feel like a bit of extra work, do some more research into all those creatures in Madagascar. Well done, Year 4. Bye for now.